Everybody, welcome back to Tech and Prep. This is my longer video on my short that I made about how China is fucking with a US AI infrastructure pathway that we're taking. This will be a bit longer, audio only. I'm on traveling for vacation, so I didn't bring a camera, in all honesty. Anyhow, so there's this report that is showing a China-aligned activist network, which anything China-aligned means it's the CCP. You can't do anything in China without the government involved. Any company based in China or that has an office in China has to have a CCP representative. How do I know? I work for a global company. I have been to China several times. It has been 2 or 3 years since I've been back, but the last time I was there, we had a CCP official who was in the office, wasn't there very often because they're lazy, but they had access, and they had all. I work in IT. They had elevated privileges to everything. They had local admin on everyone's workstation. They had domain admin and enterprise admin on the cloud and also on the local network there. They could do whatever they wanted. They could look up anyone's information. They could read anyone's email. They can download whatever they wanted. They had a special laptop that was assigned to them that no one else in the company could get on, and they had a special port in in the office that no one else was allowed to plug into. So this shit happens. And one of our offices, one day, this was about a year and a half ago, one day, the local government came in and shut down the whole office, confiscated everything, paperwork, cell phones, computers, monitors, mice, keyboards, printers, everything, without any reason, switches, routers, firewalls, Cat 5, Cat 6 cabling, everything. They just took it and left. We never got it back. We never found out why. And it was after that that the company decided to completely cut ties with that side of the business, and that side of the business operated on its own, and everything outside of that operated separately, because we could not risk information from outside of China getting taken by China, which we had things in place, if you know, you know, to prevent that, but it would have not been very difficult for them to press that. So anyhow, this is not speculation. So this report documents 21 separate campaigns that contributed to 10 what's called moratoria, which is obviously stopping something, 1 permanent ban, and 4 canceled AI data center projects. These projects were huge: a $5 billion Maryland data center and a $12 billion campus in Wisconsin. Now that one's backed by Blackstone, which, you know, I think we all know about Blackstone. And whether you like data centers or not, it's a necessary evil, right? And I understand the discussions and people getting all upset about the resources and the water and the pollution and the heat and electricity and all that. I get it. But what this is China is spending billions of dollars to prevent us from building data centers because they want to get there first. And this really is a race to the top. So the first one to get general intelligence and that type of AI is really going to be kind of the one that comes out with the Terminator first. You know what I mean? So this is one of those things where they're pumping money into our country, influencing things that happen here. And so some of the social media stuff that you're seeing online, like people talking negatively about it and pushing stuff about it, it's 100% possible that it's Chinese propaganda. You should see the videos about see if I can find a picture of it, about the people in China that have like 10, 15, 20, 30, 50, 100 cell phones. And all they go through is they go through social media and copy and paste posts and just do stuff like that. It's crazy. So the report focuses heavily on what's called the Party for Socialism and Liberation, or the PSL. It's a US-based Marxist-Leninist political organization. The leadership has ties to Neville Roy Singham, who is a Shanghai-based figure, very rich, who has been the subject of federal scrutiny for alleged links to the CCP. And that will go even deeper if you want to go down that rabbit hole. Yeah, a lot of people oppose data centers for local reasons: electricity costs, water usage, noise, zoning, stuff like that. But this is a parallel foreign-aligned influence effort that is amplifying that and is trying to slow down or stop our AI expansion. I guarantee you can't do this in China. There is zero chance you could do this in China. The corruption there is so bad that there is no way that the U.S. could do that in that country. And if they did, it would be a huge deal. And of course, it's not a big deal here because, you know, there's still a there's still a was it a they're not a fully functioning country yet or something like that. They still get funding. It's weird. So some of the ones, the $5 billion one in Maryland, $12 billion campus in Wisconsin, multiple projects in Ohio, Virginia, Oregon, and California, several smaller ones. But in total, they found 21 organized campaigns, 10 moratoria, one permanent ban, and 4 canceled projects. Let's see, going through the reports. It also references recent findings from OpenAI. They identified a likely China-linked influence operation called Data Center Bandwagon. This used ChatGPT to generate anti-data center messaging, which is kind of funny, the irony, right? It was then circulated online. According to OpenAI, the operation attempted to amplify local opposition to data center construction. Why this matters. So AI infrastructure isn't just about tech companies building big buildings. Data centers are the backbone of modern AI. And for those of you that have never been in a data center, I guarantee you've been in a building that has a data center. So you can go look and you can find a map of all the data centers that are publicly known. And that's, you're going to have 30, 40, 50, 60, 100 in major cities. But every large building and some small buildings you go into has a data center. We'll do air quotes here, data center. That could be a closet that has some sort of a cheap AC unit and a couple racks of gear or some telco gear. That can be considered a data center. But these larger companies, like you have your Visas and you have your American Express and you have your other credit card companies and finances and stuff like that, they all have data centers. I mean, you can go on Google Maps and find a building that has a data center when they have an abnormal amount of air conditioning units or generators on the side of the building or on top of the building. They're everywhere. For example, if you go into downtown LA or you go into Chicago or you go into Denver or you go into, some of these bigger like Phoenix, there are hundreds, if not thousands, of small data centers. So it's not just like they're just popping up out of nowhere. They've been there for the last 20, 30, 40 years. Like I said, I've been in IT since the mid 90s, and I have worked in data centers since then. All right. They're not new. They're just getting new momentum because they're AI/surveillance data centers, according to a bunch of people. So, but what these ones in particular that they're trying to slow down, they want to prevent training large language models, running cloud services, supporting national security applications, whether that's good or bad for us to be determined, enabling scientific research, right? Air quotes on that, powering commercial AI tools used by millions of Americans. So anytime you go into a browser and do search now, it's using AI. Of course, if you go into one of the actual apps or one of the websites, that's strictly AI. So it's there, it's integrated. Any website you go to now has an AI agent that pops up and goes, hey, can I help you? That takes compute power from somewhere. But slowing down our data center construction gives China a strategic advantage. They're rapidly trying to expand their own AI infrastructure, and they don't have the guardrails. They don't have the EPA. They don't have any of that shit. I've been there. I've seen these data centers. They're shitholes compared to ours. There's no OSHA. People are working 24 hours a day. They're getting paid barely any kind of wage, if any at all. Sometimes they don't get paid for weeks and months and sometimes years. And then they set shit on fire. Go look at the other China channels on YouTube, and you'll see that their habit of setting things on fire because they don't get paid happens all the time. And so they don't have the guardrails that we do. They'll throw up a data center which is built like garbage, but they'll do it. They don't care. They'll vent the stuff into the river. They'll vent whatever they have to into the air. They'll build more coal-fired power plants. They really don't care. What the report is really calling for, though, is greater transparency, so we understand like where is this money coming from. Disclose the funding sources. Federal investigation, whether you like the DOJ and the current FBI or not, we need to know if these people are tied to the CCP or not. Public awareness. People need to be aware that these propaganda things are going on, and that post they see on Nextdoor or on Facebook or on Reddit or on Twitter or whatever, that 100% could be Chinese propaganda. And there needs to be some sort of a balanced policy so people understand what data centers are and what they aren't, so they understand the full scope of them and not just data centers bad. It'll be interesting to see what happens, though. They've already spent $23.6 billion and that was what, a couple months ago, maybe a year ago. So God only knows what it's up to now. And they can print as much money as they want. Their money printers go bird just like any other country. So it'll be interesting to see. More information will come out. I'll keep an eye on this one. And thanks for sticking around for the longer video. If you like this content, please like and subscribe. I'm doing more tech than prep stuff on this video. It just is more current and more up to date. And yeah, we'll get back to it. Happy 4th, and we'll talk to you on the next one.